The federal courthouse in Washington, D.C. was filled with an intense, almost suffocating silence as Karoline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, stepped through the heavy wooden doors. Clutching tightly to the leash of Bruno, a German shepherd bearing a long, jagged scar along his left flank, she moved forward. Every eye in the room shifted toward her as she approached the center, her steps a mix of caution and determination. Beside her, Bruno maintained a steady yet vigilant stride, his ears perked, as if on high alert for anything unusual. Karoline wasn't just another witness. She stood in this courtroom as the official spokesperson of the White House, overseeing the trial of Victor Grayson, a former Pentagon officer suspected of espionage for China. Her responsibility? Ensuring that classified information remained protected. But one lingering question remained. Was there something hidden that no one else had yet discovered? Before diving into this gripping story, drop a comment letting us know where you're watching from, and don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss the latest stories. Judge Daniel Harper, a seasoned legal veteran with silver-streaked hair, leaned forward slightly, his piercing gaze fixed on Karoline. He knew the gravity of this case, one that carried massive national security implications. A conspiracy against President Donald Trump's administration loomed in the shadows. On the opposite side of the courtroom, Victor Grayson sat at the defendant's table, his expression disturbingly composed, almost smug. At 50 years old, he had once been nothing more than an unremarkable military analyst. But now, he stood accused of selling national security secrets to a foreign power. His arrest had come after intelligence indicated he had attended a covert meeting with Chinese operatives. Yet, despite this, his defense was strong. No direct physical evidence, no confession, and a legal team poised to dismantle every allegation against him. Then, something unexpected happened. As Karoline settled into her seat, her sharp green eyes locked onto Grayson's. A slight tremor ran through her fingers as she made an almost imperceptible gesture, a signal only those with specialized training would recognize. It was a silent cue, prearranged with Bruno, a dog trained under the Trump administration to detect listening devices and suspicious behavior. Only two people in the room caught the signal, Bruno and Judge Harper. Bruno's reaction was instant. As Karoline's fingers lightly tapped the table, issuing a quiet command, the German shepherd's posture shifted, his body tensed, muscles coiling like a compressed spring. A low, menacing growl rumbled from his chest, his golden brown eyes locking onto Grayson with unshakable intensity, as if seeing straight through him. A chill rippled through the courtroom. Murmurs spread among the spectators, the weight of the moment pressing down on everyone. This wasn't just a trained dog reacting to a command. This was something deeper, something primal. Judge Harper slammed his gavel against the bench, the sound reverberating like thunder. "Court is recessed for 15 minutes, he announced, his voice carrying a rare urgency. Prosecutor Anna Reynolds shot him a questioning glance, but Harper didn't respond. Instead, his gaze shifted to Karoline, who stood beside Bruno, her hand resting on the dog as if he were her only anchor in that moment. Something had just happened, something important, and he needed time to process it before the trial could move forward. As the courtroom slowly emptied, Judge Harper remained in his seat, deep in thought. In all his years on the bench, he had never seen a trained dog react with such precise certainty. What had Bruno picked up on? And more importantly, what did it mean for the case? Just outside the courtroom, Karoline knelt beside Bruno, gripping his fur tightly. Her mother, Margaret Leavitt, crouched beside her, brushing a shaky hand through her daughter's hair. "Are you okay, sweetheart?" Margaret whispered. Karoline didn't respond, but she didn't need to. The way her grip on Bruno tightened, the way her body pressed against him for comfort, spoke volumes. A few feet away, FBI agent Ethan Brooks watched the scene carefully. A seasoned investigator, Brooks had spent years solving high-stakes cases. And now, his instincts told him, the incident in the courtroom had just changed everything. He stepped closer to Judge Harper and, in a low voice, murmured, "I'd bet my badge that Bruno just picked up on something about Grayson." Judge Harper exhaled slowly, his sharp blue eyes narrowing in thought. "Then we need to find out exactly what it is." In the defendant's private holding room, Victor Grayson sat across from his attorney, Thomas Reed. Now alone, the smugness that had been plastered across Grayson's face melted away, replaced by something cold and calculated. His fingers drummed steadily against the wooden table, his mind replaying what had just happened. Karoline had said nothing, but that dog had reacted. Under his breath, he muttered, "She knows something." Reed raised an eyebrow.
"What?"
Grayson forced a strained smile. "Nothing." But inside, his mind was spinning. That damn dog. He hadn't accounted for this. He hadn't expected it to be a problem. But now he realized Bruno might just be the key to exposing everything. As the 15-minute recess neared its end, Judge Harper adjusted his robe and took a deep breath. He didn't believe in coincidences. And his gut told him Bruno had just given them a crucial clue. For the first time since the trial had begun at the federal courthouse in Washington, D.C., he felt the momentum shifting. Tension hung thick in the air as everyone returned to their seats. Victor Grayson, the former Pentagon official accused of espionage for China, remained still, but this time, his eyes betrayed a flicker of unease. Prosecutor Anna Reynolds prepared to resume her questioning. Yet, all eyes in the room seemed to fixate on Karoline Leavitt and the German shepherd sitting beside her, the one with the long scar along his left flank. Because Bruno was no ordinary dog. Trained under the Trump administration, he was specialized in detecting listening devices, explosives, and erratic behavior. His presence at the trial wasn't just for show. It was a classified security measure that Karoline had personally insisted upon. Stepping forward, Anna Reynolds' voice rang out, sharp yet controlled. "Your Honor, we have clear evidence that Mr. Grayson had been communicating with Chinese operatives for months, passing along classified Pentagon information." She held up a stack of documents. But Thomas Reed immediately shot to his feet. "Objection," he said smoothly. "This is purely speculation. No recordings, no photos, just unreliable witness claims." Seated near the prosecution table, Karoline studied Grayson carefully. Something was off. The way he clenched his fists when Reed mentioned recordings, it was a classic stress tell, one she had seen many times in high-pressure White House briefings. Without hesitation, she tapped her fingers lightly against the table, a secret signal. Bruno's response was immediate. His ears perked, nose twitching, body tensed. Then, like a lightning strike, he bolted toward Grayson's table, sniffing rapidly around his chair. A deep, guttural growl rumbled from his chest, his golden brown eyes locked onto something beneath the table. Whispers erupted in the courtroom. Judge Harper slammed his gavel down. "What's happening, Ms. Leavitt?" he demanded. Karoline stood. Her voice was calm but razor-sharp. "Your Honor, Bruno is trained to detect listening devices. I believe there is something in this room that we haven't noticed yet." FBI agent Ethan Brooks sprang into action. Kneeling beside Bruno, he followed the dog's lead, and beneath Grayson's table, he found it. A small black device, no bigger than a coin, blinking with a faint red light. A listening device. Brooks held it up. His voice rang through the stunned silence. "Your Honor, this was just found beneath the defendant's table." Victor Grayson paled. His hands shook. Judge Harper's voice was ice-cold as he slammed his gavel down once more. "Court is adjourned. I'm ordering an immediate security sweep."